All right, good morning. It is July 29th, and we are getting towards the end of what has been a pretty hectic summer. Online today, I got myself and Michael Keefe, a lot of people out catching up on the research, working on various problems as far as weeds and diseases. And we may have one or two joining us in later today. But most importantly, I wanted to get Mr. O'Keefe to give us an update on his internship program, how his numbers are looking, and where the activity is currently most centered. Mike, take it away.
Ed, thanks for having me on. Yes, our program, as you know, we were grounded for 2 years with COVID, but we've managed to get some interns back in the country. We've got some great hosts around Ohio, most notably Pat O'Brien down Cincinnati, up at Muirfield, Double Eagle. We've got some great interns over at Scioto as well. I mean, we're very fortunate to have some great hosts around Ohio taking our interns. The program really, in general, is coming back. It's going to take us 2 years to get back to the probably normal numbers we had, but we're trying to get more Americans overseas more than anything. And I think one of those that we sent over this year, some of you will know Patrick Andrews, who is he was up at Muirfield, and he was here at OSU in Columbus and up in Worcester as well. Patrick's over in Ireland, and we worked a great deal for him. I introduced him to John Kiger from TurfNet, and TurfNet have been fantastic in helping him get even more out of his internship in Ireland. He's over at a course called Adair Manor. It's where they're going to host the Ryder Cup in a few years' time. He got to do the Pro-Am, the JP McManus Pro-Am over there with the team. He was part of the team over there, and he got to go over to St. Andrews right before the British Open, or the Open as they call it, and meet Sandy and Gordon over there. This was all thanks to John Kiger. I won't take any credit for that. And then he also managed to get into work what would be our Super Bowl in Ireland, the All-Ireland hurling final between Limerick and Kilkenny. And it was a great final. The stadium pitch, he said the temperatures are 84 degrees over there. So he got firsthand experience on sports stadiums. So if you have somebody, a young person that wants to go overseas, they not only can get experience on golf courses, but also in stadiums. And that's what I'm calling out to, is our superintendents around the country know young people that are coming into the industry, encourage them to come into ATI, encourage them to come to Columbus, because they can go onwards and get experience overseas and doing this. It's not just a 2-year degree from ATI. There's the whole world opened up to them. And another point in that fact is, Ed, you've been helpful in setting up the internship for him now when he's done in Ireland, going to New Zealand. So, you know, to coin the phrase, the world's your oyster in the turfgrass industry, is very true in his situation. And I mean, he'd never heard of Adair Manor. He'd never heard of Tara Eady before he came in the door to us and started talking. So I'm convinced there's other students in Worcester that would do this in the future. We've got to find those students. We've got to encourage them. And when we recruit, I see Pam's talking about going out and talking to FFA students. I was talking to her about her kids are working in Boy Scouts. We should be talking to Boy Scout camps. You know, we can be doing more to encourage students into our industry to go overseas, because we've built the bridges already. It was very easy for me to call the superintendent at Adair Manor, because guess what? I had 11 of my past students working there when I went to visit. It's unbelievable. So the doors are being opened, the bridges have been built. So there's no excuse that you and Dominic, if you're out there recruiting, we can't find the students. But likewise, the superintendents that are listening to this, they might know a young person, male or female. We have a lot of opportunities for females in this industry. They do very well. I can think of one of our students is now the superintendent at Ryder Cup course in Rome, Lara Arias. She came in as a regular intern, and she's now the superintendent hosting a Ryder Cup in Italy. So, Ed, it's really exciting times for us. Another update is we've visiting scholar Siobhan Cusack from Ireland working at the Turf Research Farm. If you're down for the Turf Research Field Day next week, make sure you say hello to her. She's looking to try and do a master's degree. Our goal is to internationalize the department. Our goal is to open up the world for people, and she can come in and be a great addition to the team, Ed, in doing something like this. Okay.
Thanks, Mike. That's great stuff. You got a lot of activity going on, and I did recently see you guys also committed to a pretty big scholarship in the college. Is that correct?
That's correct. Actually, we've got what's called a top fellowship, whereby our program, being a nonprofit, we get no funding from the university, but the donations we get in from our hosts, we're now giving a fellowship of close to 55, almost $60,000 to anybody who has been in the program, who wants to go on to do a master's or a PhD. And we had the first candidate successful this year from the horticulture department, Fabiano Colette. He's going to be doing his PhD under Laura Lindsay, a great researcher and professor in the department. And we're going to do more of these in the future. We're hoping to reach out to industry to try and sponsor one of these fellowships as well, because it's a win-win for everybody. It's good for the department. The young man is from Brazil. It's building good relationships in Brazil. It's bringing that international perspective here to Columbus. And as you know, in the corn and soybean business, we're getting more and more competition from overseas. So we need to know what our competition is out there. And I asked Fabiano, and he said, I want to be a teacher and I would love to teach at Ohio State. And that's the goal of our program, is to plow the money back into graduate students for the future. So it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and like you tell everybody, you couldn't get rid of me either, Mike.
Yes, I do.
I do see that you were managing to play some free golf this week. Congratulations on that. I think your back is still sore, but you know that's the tough part of life. From an agronomic standpoint, it's been kind of an interesting week. We have gotten hot and extremely humid. Down at the research turf farm this week, we saw some brown patch on bentgrass surfaces. There's dollar spots also running around. We also have in pretty extreme conditions. Some pythium showed up on fine fescue, and Dr. Petrella's research work in the greenhouses up in Worcester. So I wouldn't necessarily put it down to being untreated, but getting into extreme conditions. From the weed standpoint, everything is basically as it was last week. A lot of problems still popping up, but we're starting to get towards the end of the 100 days. And so I can hear people starting to tweet and chirp about the fact that nighttime temperatures starting to cool down, day lengths are getting a little bit shorter. So we are getting towards the end of it. From the standpoint of lawns and issues like that, remember, end of August, early September is going to be optimal for seeding in Ohio. So if you're kind of itching to get going, maybe just a little bit of patience for the next week to 10 days if there is damage you want to recover from. And we will have a full series available to everybody in regards to reestablishing any areas that need help. From the standpoint of upcoming activities, Mike mentioned both the OTF field day, which is on Tuesday morning, and also the OLCA field day, which is on Wednesday morning, both at the Turf Research Facility in Columbus. We've also got the golf outings in October for scholarship purposes. The OTF scholarship fundraiser is October 3rd, and October 19th is the ATI scholarship fundraiser. That is everything. We're full crowd after our field day event. Thank you for your time, folks, and we'll talk to you also.